Sign up to the SBR Network and use your free daily bet points to earn real-world prizes. Click on the page and start winning now. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are continuing our coverage of the 86 Oscars, the 2014 Oscars. Sitting next to me, of course, is, as always, Natalie Rydstrom. Natalie, how you doing?
Very well, thank you, Pete. Very excited. I feel I'm dressed up already for the show. As are you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I look a little bit better. Yeah, and I'm very, very excited for our guest today. Right, he comes to us from awardcircuit.com. Who else could be more of an expert on this stuff?
I know.
His website is called awardcircuit.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think he'll know his stuff, and I think he'll be able to help us make some bets here.
I think he's going to give us some really valuable information that we can't get from a betting person, from a William Hill person, or anyone like that. And let's meet our guest right now. His name is Clayton Davis from awardcircuit.com. Clayton Davis, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so your website is awardcircuit.com. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your website. Obviously, it's a website dedicated only to award shows, right?
Yeah, we're one-stop shop for all award shows. Been around for going on 6 years now. Been getting bigger and bigger by the week and by the day and by the year. So we've been doing quite well.
That's awesome. What a fun website. So you cover. So what other awards shows do you cover besides the Oscars, like the major ones, the Grammys?
Everything that leads up to the Oscars: Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild, BAFTA, Critics' Choice Movie Awards. I'm a member of the Broadcast Film Critics Association, which hosts the Critics' Choice Movie Awards. And then once the Oscars are over, we do it all over again, starting in March, and then we cover the Emmys too.
This guy knows his stuff.
I certainly think so.
This is awesome. All right, well, we're going to get some insights from him on how to handicap the Oscars in general, and then we'll get some thoughts on this year's Oscars specifically. Let's start right in. You're the perfect person to add. This is one thing that I'm always wondering when I see, these Oscars odds. What factors go into setting these odds, and why are there so many enormous favorites?
Well, everything that leads up to the Oscars, it's been in previous years that the Oscars are anticlimactic because people already know kind of what's going to win based on previous award shows like the Golden Globes, BAFTA, right, Screen Actors Guild, and all those different things. So people placing odds on them, that just goes to the territory of all the precursors that lead up to the Oscar night. So, it's just natural for certain films to become the favorites, when they've been winning things constantly all year long.
Sure. I understand that. So it's like leading up to the Oscars, it's like everyone kind of knows who everyone's going to vote for it. So it's basically a lock, even though, the odds might say it's only like minus 3,000. But then why are there some categories that don't have an enormous, overwhelming favorite? Some categories do have actually somewhat competitive odds. Why are those categories not ones where we all know what everyone's going to vote for beforehand?
Well, I've been covering the Oscars for 10 years now, and I've gone on record as saying this is the most unpredictable Oscar race I've ever covered.
Really?
There are maybe half the categories that can go in a number of directions. So we haven't had this amount of open categories in a really long time, and I've been covering for 10 years now. So I think this is going to be a completely wide open race. A lot of things can happen. It can go in any number of directions.
And which particular categories are you sort of talking about here? Is there sort of a main one?
Well, this is the first time that the Best Picture race is wide open. I don't know who the Best Picture winner is, and I have no idea what's going to happen. And I've never seen a season where one film has won an immense amount of Best Picture prizes, that being 12 Years a Slave, and it's still wide open like that because it's only one Best Picture at a certain number of award shows.
Yeah.
So everything from Best Picture down to any of the number of tech categories.
All right. Well, this is interesting. Can I ask you a question now?
Okay, go for it.
Let's jump ahead to this question now. You just brought up 12 Years a Slave. You just said that it's wide open, and that's kind of what the guy from William Hill said when we previewed this with him yesterday. But according to the odds, 12 Years a Slave is an enormous favorite. It's like, I think it's 1-5 at Bodog, and the second choice is all the way down to like 4-1 to 5-1. So the market doesn't think this is wide open. The market thinks 12 Years a Slave should be a huge favorite. What's your take on that?
12 Years a Slave has won where it needs to win. It won the BAFTA, it won the Golden Globe, it tied at the Producers Guild of America. So the only place it didn't win was the DGA, which is Directors Guild. So yes, on paper, yes, that's your favorite. But you don't have a film like 12 Years a Slave normally win at the Oscars. History is going to be made this year. It's whether or not the first predominantly black cast, made by a black filmmaker, produced by a black producer, is going to win Best Picture, or is it going to be a science fiction film to be the first one to win Best Picture? There's so many question marks here. The Oscars don't reward films like 12 Years a Slave and Gravity normally. So this can default to something completely in their wheelhouse and be American Hustle.
Wow. Well, do you really think that it's between those two, or do you think Dallas Buyers Club is actually also in the race as well?
No, and Best Picture, not so much. It doesn't have the director nomination, which normally goes with it. And unless you're Ben Affleck, Jean-Marc Vallée is not really a Ben Affleck at the moment. So Dallas Buyers Club will do well in the acting categories, where McConaughey and Jared Leto will likely win, and probably makeup.